love is, like I said, it's the worst drug known to man, honestly. Especially if you really feel for someone and it doesn't work out that way. You kind of get lost a little bit. So, yeah, I love hella hard. And I ain't afraid to admit it. I used to be, but yeah, for sure.
So who did you love that hard? Die alone hard?
Hey.
Like, because when you think of being with someone,
absolutely.
I never think that being apart with them, I would be dying alone. I would automatically think, well, I guess I gotta find another one.
Well, you know, I
don't want to die alone. Come back, baby, please.
It's not a please. It's not. It's not even a please. You know, come back. It was just more so of a when you feel like you found someone who God created for you, but it was just like your fault of messing it up. Nobody else can really like replace that.
Right.
And I know that, but right now I'm just like doing what I can and sharing my experiences because I know it's a lot of people who feel the same way I feel, and I'm just not afraid to actually express it. So,
you do express your music in a very deep way. Where does that come from?
My man's Justin Gray, my producer. He actually helped me channel.
But I mean emotionally.
Yeah,
he
helped me channel a place that I've never channeled before because I've been through a lot in my life, and you know, I saw a psychologist, a therapist, all of that, and I just had to really figure out what was wrong with me before I could actually be able to record any new music again. And the first song that I did record was Die Alone. And then from there, it just kind of went, but...
so what was wrong with you?
I was lost, you know what I mean? I was very, very lost. I was very insecure, and I just wasn't supportive enough, you know what I'm saying? From a man's perspective, I was not supportive enough.
But you're talking about in a relationship, right?
Yeah, just period.
I'm talking about individually.
Oh, individually.
Like, what did you have to go through individually?
Shit.
Because when you go to a therapist, they're not asking about your relationship. They're trying to get to the crux of who you are and what's going on with you.
I've been broken down a lot. I came from a single family home. I've never had structure in my life. So I never knew what that was or how it looked. I just always felt like I knew what it was and knew what it could be. So I would try to control everything around me. So therefore, I would just try to make sure I can try to control what I can control, but I cannot control everything. And once I figured that out, everything started really manifesting and happening for me. You know, I got to the lowest point in my life where, like, I was homeless. Like I said before, I had to see a therapist.
How do you end up homeless? I often hear of artists, and not just musicians, but I'm an actress, so I know, you know, actors who are homeless, musicians who are homeless, and they're sacrificing for the art. Was it that kind of homeless, or was it, damn, I ain't got nowhere to stay homeless? Like, what the hell?
It was kind of both. It was kind of both because as being an artist and a starving artist, sometimes I would be bigger than what I am, and I would feel like I was too big to just get a job to feed myself. And I feel like that's a problem that a lot of artists actually have, and actually just humbling themselves and getting the job to actually be able to feed themselves, because that's not hindering your future or your career. That's actually helping you pay for your dreams.
So were your homeless days in Milwaukee, or was
here,
in LA?
When I came to LA, I hit pure rock bottom, and I needed that because I was on my high horse, because all of my friends are like, you know, NBA, and like, all of my friends are doing great, but I was just the only one who was like, I wasn't. So I acted the part.
Oh, that peer pressure.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. And shit, I ain't make it. And I made it right in the backseat of my car. Shit. But, you know, I needed that.
So what kind of car were you living in?
Shit, I was in a little Honda.
Honda?
A little Honda.
But them Hondas, they need to rebrand. They advertise.
Hello?
I know so many people who lived in the Hondas. I tell you. Yeah. The Hondas need to do some rebranding.
Hello.
And then start with you.
Facts.
Right?
But
mobile homes.
Mobile home. But you know.
So did you drive to LA in the Honda?
No. I flew here, but I got the car here. And you know, I got a great group of friends here, but it was just like I said before, I was just faking it until I made it, until like I couldn't fake it no more, until I just broke down on everything and lost everything. I had like a deal situation a while back, and then I had, you know, lost a situation, a relationship that I was in, and I just start losing people as well, like losing family members and losing my life and like everything all at one time.
Right.
So where it just like I couldn't fake who I thought I was no more, and I just shut down.
Why do you think you were losing the people?
Well, they were sick, but As far as
Oh,
like
you
they
mean
death,
losing
like death,
they
like
died?
death, like death.
Oh, I thought you meant they was just like checking out of your world.
Nah.
No,
few
they
people,
checked out of the
if
world.
I needed to lose them, I lost them. You know, you need to lose
Right.
people sometimes to actually gain yourself.
Oh, so you started losing people.
I started
close
losing people
to you.
close to me.
People started dying.
Like close to me dying, and
like who? Like moms, brothers?
Cousins, close cousins that I grew up with and did a lot of things with, and I just kind of like lost everything. I thought, you know, I was at the end of my rope, and I ain't had where else to go to or where else to like force myself into.
Right.
Because in LA, you know, you got to be at every party, you got to be at everything, you got to show you, and it's just
That's what they have you
and
think.
it's like you get that shit that gets so draining.
Man,
like
who you telling?
Hello, you know it. You know what I mean? Like it's so draining to the point of where it's like and I finally just broke down, and I couldn't take it no more.
So how do you get to the place? I mean, I love to hear a hard knock story, but even better than that, I love to hear how you come out of it mentally. Because why do you no longer want to fake it till you make it? Or are you going to admit to Tammi Mack that you still faking it?
Nah. If I was faking it, I wouldn't be here. Honestly, I don't really move like that. My energy don't allow me to move like that. And I got to that place because I got tired of faking it, because I knew I was a great individual and I brought something to the table a lot of people don't bring. In my presence, everybody brings something to the table different. Every human being.
Yeah.
And I finally figured it out. Like I just needed to be myself, and that'll get me in every door possible. And I finally buckled down and humbled myself, and actually, because it's a real crisis right now, especially with the African-American males, we're afraid to actually see somebody to talk to, therapist, psychologist.
You're so right about that.
Because we feel that it is belittling us, and we feel that it is weak. We feel weak. You'll feel weak as a man, you know what I'm saying? And I just stopped feeling like I thought I was weak and I just needed strength. And
so it was your producer who gave you...
He gave me the insight on like, yo, I believe in you, but you need to do this. Just try it once. And
wow.
And you know, I went ahead and did that, and then had a couple more sessions, and then I just start building myself back up mentally. And everybody else starts seeing the results.
I was, you know, making fun and laughing about you looking all model-esque, but you really are a model.
Yeah.
Yes. How did that happen amongst the music?
Well, it started when I was back home in Virginia, and a photographer was just like, hey, let's just take some pictures. And it kind of like snowballed. From there, I started actually doing like real stuff, like BET, and then I moved here, and then I got with a commercial and print agency kind of like out of nowhere, like 6 months after I moved here. And I just have been doing
So I guess you wasn't living in a Hyundai.
I wasn't. I actually had a place to go.
Me and Romell don't like you already, Sanura.
I'm sorry, I had a place to go, but I still have my struggles though. So it wasn't that easy.
I still have my struggles. I had a pimple the day that I was
No, I didn't have it super easy. But that was one of the things when I came here that was like one of those miracles that kind of happened. So like I said, 6 months after I moved here, I wound up by chance just getting with an agency, and then from there, like I just started doing a bunch of commercials, a bunch of print stuff, and yeah,
that's amazing.
How I got into
but
it.
Look, you're gorgeous.
Thank
so
you.
I wouldn't expect anything less than a modeling agency to snap you up.
Oh, thank you.
So,
thank you.
But you musically come from a lineage of music.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your family, and who was it? Your grandmother or mother that was an opera singer?
It was my grandma. My grandma from my dad's side.
Get out.
Yeah.
And your dad was a drummer.
Yes. He's a drummer, and he paints as well.
Oh, he still is a drummer?
He still is.
Oh, okay.
He's doing his thing.
So did you, so your grandmama wasn't like every black person's grandmama walking around the house singing hymnals.
You know what? I didn't really know her that well because it's my real dad's side of the family. I have a real dad and a stepdad. So I kind of was with my mom and my family over here, and, you know, they were doing their thing over there. But I know that she was an opera singer, and in fact, they told me that she used to call the house when I was small, when I was like 2 years old, and we would sing together. Like, I don't remember that, but that's what I've heard.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But you never heard her sing?
I've never heard her sing.
Have you ever been to an opera?
I think maybe once.
Yeah, you got to go to an opera.
Have you ever been to an opera?
Yes, I've been to an opera.
How was it?
Oh, I didn't understand a word they were saying.
It doesn't even matter. It don't even matter.
The way that what they make come out of their mouths is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's I can't even describe it. Like, your mouth is just dropped the whole time. And in the back of my head, the sister girl in me is going, what the hell are they saying?
Right.
But then the other part of me is like, this is definitely beautiful.
So beautiful.
It's just beautiful music. Wow.
It doesn't even matter what they're saying.
No, it
because
doesn't.
the way they're hitting those notes, it's just
And
crazy.
you kind of understand it because it's always a story.
Right.
And so you kind of understand just because of what's going on and what's
Absolutely.
happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's happening with your music is what I want to know.
Okay, when you say what's happening, what's the actual question? What's the real question?
So this song that I'm hearing
Yes.
now, what are we doing with it? How do we come up with it?
Okay, so I was listening to samples and things like that, because usually like I do stuff that's very just soulful and very just, I don't know, it's just basically like a jazz soul kind of vibe. But then I heard this sample and I was like, hold on, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Michael Jackson. Let me see. I just was having fun just writing a song, just seeing what I could come up with. And then once it was done, I was like, this sounds kind of good.
It sounds soulful though.
Yeah, it is, but I feel like it gives you that late 60s, early 70s, like Jackson vibe kind of, Jackson 5 kind of vibe. I feel like that.
That's how you feel. So that's how you feel.
That's how I feel, yeah.
Okay. So 15 years in the music industry?
I've been recording professionally since I was about like 15 years old or something like that. But I don't know. I wouldn't say professionally until maybe about like 8 to 10 years ago.
What made you move from Virginia to Los Angeles?
I actually moved from Virginia to New York because I was doing a lot of stuff locally, but I didn't feel like there was enough opportunities back home. So I said, okay, well, what am I gonna do? So the closest thing to me was New York. I went there, I was there for 3 years. I was like, it's too cold, I'm not doing this no more.
It's too cold.
No, it's too cold. And it was about to turn winter again. And I was like, so I have a choice. Do I stay here or do I find somewhere else to go? I said, well, what can I do? I said, I need somewhere warm. I still need to be where arts and entertainment is. I'm going to LA.
It
was like a no-brainer.
Did you have friends here already
No.
or nothing?
I knew no one.
You just hopped on the bus and, well, I know you didn't get on no bus, Sonora.
I didn't get on the bus.
I already know you weren't on no bus, Sonora.
Right? No, I was not. I got a one-way ticket to LA. I didn't tell anybody that I was leaving because I didn't want anybody to try to talk me out of it, like any of my family members or whatever. Because sometimes when you make like big moves or whatever, everybody's like, well, what are you going to do about this? Did you get a job lined up? Do you have this? Do you have that?
That's true.
And it's like, okay, I don't have any of this lined up, but I'm still going to go. So in order to avoid the questioning,
You just hopped on the plane and took off one way.
I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my mom until maybe a week before I was about to leave to come here.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you're lying. And I was like, no, I'm moving. I'll come visit, and then I'm going to leave from
Real
there.
bosses move in silence,
Hello?
girl.
What they say, real G's moving sounds like lasagna. Exactly. Had to do it. I didn't want anybody to try to talk me out of it.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's good because I honestly believe that sometimes when we tell people our plans, it's intentionally, subconsciously, we want to hear them give us every reason why it won't work.
Right.
So that we can change our mind about what we're doing and feel like, oh, okay, everybody else feels like it won't work either, so I'm okay. I don't think I should try it.
When you tell people the plans or when you don't tell them? When you do tell them?
When you do tell them.
You know what? I feel like for me, it doesn't bother me when it's not like family members. Like if it's just friends, just some people, coworkers or whatever, I don't really care what you think about anything that I'm doing, whatever. But as far as like, sometimes with your parents and they can have a really big influence and a really big impact on your decision making.
Absolutely.
And sometimes even if it's something that is not best for you, when they tell you, hey, this is what you should do, you're kind of more inclined to go with what they think because you're like, well, this is my mom, this is my dad. They know better than I do, But I don't know, I kind of got to a point where I'm like, I'm kind of tired of people telling me what I should be doing.
Well, what's interesting is my mother never told me anything. And
What do you mean? Never told you
she never gave me advice.
Really?
No.
How does that work?
I'm telling you, she always let me experience things on my own.
That's great.
And when I moved to LA, she called me and said, "What took you so long?"
Took you so long to move to LA?
LA?
Get out of here.
Yeah. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, when you moved to Birmingham, I assumed you were moving to LA. And when you moved to this place, I assumed you were moving to LA. She was like, I had no idea, but I said, I'm going to let God lead my daughter and see where she ends up. But I don't know what the hell Birmingham had to do with acting.
Right.
Is what she said. But by the time I moved to LA, she was like, what took you so long?
Wait, why did you move to